Good morning to you. Some of you may probably be wondering, why are we in the classroom again when we are not in any restrictions because of COVID? The reason why we're in the classroom is because Hub 3 and 4 are having a special service where all the parents and other family members are in the chapel. And because the chapel can only sit about 200 people, we would not all manage to fit in there. That's not a problem. We're still managing to worship and have our chapel service together. So hopefully that explains if you've got any questions about why we're doing it this way. This morning I'm just going to share something that I received from my youngest daughter. It was a note of encouragement after I had spoken to both my girls about something that I was going through. And the note really touched me and made me feel quite special. To ensure my other daughter doesn't get too jealous, she's written notes for me before. So the kind thing that my youngest did is something that has happened before. And in fact, it's something that they have learned from us. We've sometimes written notes to them just to give them a bit of a boost and give them some kind words when they're needing it. Our value for this week is kindness. And kindness is linked to the things that we say, the things that we do, or the things that we are encouraging other people to also do. One of the best stories that I know of from the Bible that really explains kindness is a story or a parable called the parable of the Good Samaritan. Now, this story takes place in the time of Jesus, so a very long time ago. And Jesus and his people were called the Jews. And the Jews were not friendly. In fact, they were described as enemies with a group of people from a place called Samaria, or the Samaritans. And the Jews and the Samaritans, as I've just explained, were not friends. They were enemies. One day, a Jewish person was traveling from a big city called Jerusalem and making his way to a place called Jericho. And in those days, people didn't have cars or trains. A lot of people walked. And in this case, the man who was traveling was on his donkey. As he was traveling along the road, some robbers found him and they beat him up, which wasn't very nice, took his donkey and took a lot of his things away from him. And they left him on the side of the road thinking that, he was probably dead. The story now really gets interesting because a priest, someone who worked for the temple, who also was walking along the side of the road, found this Jewish man lying in a ditch, injured and really needing some help. And the priest did not stop. He looked at the man and just carried on, didn't help him. Another person who is described as a Levite, who's just another person from within the Jewish community, also came along and saw the man on the side of the road. He too did not stop. He carried on. In fact, he rushed off because he didn't want to be associated or get involved in what was going on. There are a lot of reasons and possibly a lot of excuses as to why the first two people did not stop and help. And yes, there are explanations that have been given as to why that is. I'm not going to focus on that for now. What I would like to focus on is the third person who came through. The third person who came along was a Samaritan, someone from Samaria, who was an enemy of the Jews. The Samaritan saw the man on the side of the road and stopped, even though he knew they were not friendly people together. They were not people who tended to do things together. The Samaritan man stopped and helped the injured person. Not only did he help the injured person, we are told he took him to an inn, which is like a bed and breakfast place, and paid for the injured man to be looked after, paid his own money. And not only did he pay for him to be looked after, he gave even more money and said, if you run out of money and he hasn't recovered, here's some extra money just to make sure that this man is looked after. When this story was told in the Bible, the question that is asked is, who of the three showed the injured man kindness or mercy? And it's an easy one. Obviously, the person who helped is the person who showed kindness. And that's a really big story that talks about something that is quite easy. Sometimes when we are doing things, we can do things that are not very kind, that are not very thoughtful. If we don't share our toys, if we don't invite someone to join in a game, if we don't share our coloring in things, or speak to someone in a kind way, that can really hurt some other people's feelings. In our Bible reading today, we are reminded to only say good things to other people, because that will make them feel better and in turn help them have not just a good day, but possibly a good week. When I shared my note from one of my daughters, I explained how it made me feel. It made me feel really, really good. And it wasn't just something that happened at the time. It's carried on. And I'm still enjoying how good that made me feel. What are we going to be doing this week to help other people feel good? How can we show kindness? I've got a list of some of the things that we could do. We could listen to others. We could say thank you a lot more. Forgive people if they've hurt us. We could write a note to someone to cheer them up, or invite someone to play with them if you see that they haven't got anyone to play with. Think about what you can do to make others feel good by your kindness this week. Amen.